You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
The wheel is turning and you can't slow down. You can't let go and you can't hold on. You can't go back and you can't stand still. If the thunder don't get you, then the lightning will.
Hello, welcome back in. I forget what the date is, November 17th, 16th, doesn't matter. My Wheelhouse, we're cracking. We had a little bit of a 5-day delay due to Veterans Day. Hope you guys enjoyed your Monday off. It's Thursday now. We got a big game coming up tonight. Oh. I'm sure we'll get into that. What's going on,
It makes Thursday a good day. I'm glad we waited because we got those things happening. Like,
yeah, lots of things piled up. More things to talk about now.
Yeah.
A lot has happened, and that is a huge game.
I agree.
It's very exciting.
Hope it's not anticlimactic. Sometimes
the housekeeping things, I get back-to-back medals.
Back-to-back.
With an asterisk on the first one.
No,
I'm going to have to start writing these things down.
I don't even know.
They're written down right here. They're written down right here. I had 14 correct. Okay. Mike had 11, and Sloan got 12. So
14's pretty good. 14
it was a good. I had a 9 in a row stretch. I was looking poor, and then I got it. Yeah, stretch.
I've really become the cellar dweller here.
Yes.
I don't like this.
You're not good at this game.
At least I got a victory under my belt. I can just kind of cruise the rest of the game.
Can we go back to hats?
We only got 3 on the table today, showcasing the game today. Yeah, we're going to extrapolate on the game that Mike created a while ago with the nicknames. We got some trades to talk about that happened over the past couple weeks or so. Touch on college hoops that started. Do you have any, tell me something good or any chumps we want to start before the wheel?
Oh, God, yeah, I always have some chumps.
Okay, let's hear it.
I got 2 pretty good ones. First, Lance. I mean, some guys are chumps forever.
Yes.
You're getting that feeling, right? So you don't really dig any deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Stevenson.
Yes,
he's playing when he's got Joseph as his other guard on the floor. And Joseph is standing to the left of the key, and he's wide open. He's just standing there. With Stevenson being played on the other side. And Joseph goes, like this. And Stevenson goes, and does it himself. The next possession, it comes down, and Joseph has the ball here, and Stevenson is on the other side, and he goes ballistic, calling for the ball. Yeah. No, he just goes, give it to me! But, after he just didn't give it down, that's a chump.
It was the reverse, but yes, it's hilarious.
It was the reverse.
Yeah, Lance was there first, and Lance was freaking out, jumping up and down, arms waving, calling for the ball, and then the exact opposite.
How do you play with that guy?
And the best part was Lance, after the play, was like, calm down. Like, I'm not going to give you the ball. Calm down.
Unbelievable. I want to give the other one because I've been holding the other one for a while, and it's Roy Williams of North Carolina.
Yeah,
when Joel Berry went down with his injury?
Definitely a low-key chump.
And Roy Williams goes, so Joel Berry punches a video game and breaks his wrist and he's out.
Well, he lost the video game, so he could punch a ball or something.
You sound like Roy Williams. Yeah. So Roy Williams goes, that really shows me how competitive this guy is.
I mean, it kind of does. That's a lame thing to say.
The guy breaks his wrist, he's going out, and the coach is going to say, boy, I love his competitiveness.
It was definitely idiotic. I mean,
but not really chumpish. I kind of like Roy Williams. But
I got a chump, LiAngelo Ball.
Yeah.
You're going to go to China, a communist country, which we happen to not really get along with, but we also kind of need, and you're going to go over there for a big marquee game, international game, and essentially you created an international problem, an international conflict, and even the president had to get involved. It's talk about like shaming your whole family, your whole institution, and your country.
Yeah,
I can't believe that.
Him and his 2 friends successfully robbed 2 stores before the one that they got caught at.
Yeah, well, that's why
especially in this day and age where everything's on camera. I mean, come on.
That's what a lot of people were saying. Where's the footage? Okay, I completely believe it because they were putting their tails between their legs and saying, please let us back.
They got to their hotel room. They had us up there. The Chinese come and virtually surround the hotel, go in, isolate the whole UCLA team, start looking through all their possessions, and I think they found one of the things that was stolen.
Unbelievable.
It's not smart. All right, get to the wheel.
Okay. Chumps.
See what's going on.
Definite chump.
Good chump. Thanks for having another chump. That's
good. I agree. Definitely lots of chumps.
You owe a chump, no?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Mike, start it off. Start it off, Mike. Start it off.
All right, let's go. I mean, no, this is not bad. This is good. And it comes right down. I was telling Shay before we went on that I had a lot. Thursday's a busy day for me, so I'm putting off. I watched the first quarter last night of the Philly-LA game, and then I put the rest on DVR. And now it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm coming here, but I haven't had time. I said I'm going to do it. I watched the game. Wow. Was it good? And that's like my game of the week before that was Toronto and Houston. But to watch Joel Embiid in this game,
he's unbelievable.
At times he was Akeem Olajuwon. At other times I don't know who he was, but
Bill Russell maybe.
46. I mean,
Kareem.
And then I watch Duke play, and I see this guy that Bagley could not step in the gym with Joel Embiid. I mean, it's impossible. That was an amazing. And then just the 4 young guys. I mean, Simmons was really good. Simmons to Embiid. How often are you going to hear Simmons to Embiid? And then on the other side, you got Kyle Kuzma and Ingram, who both played really good.
Good games.
You go to the 4th quarter. The last game I watched with LA completely was the Portland game when Ball was really bad. Now this one here, he doesn't play a second in the 4th.
Well,
Lopez doesn't play a second in the 4th, yet they compete all the way. Ball had 2 and 2.
Yeah.
2 points, 0 for 7 from the 3.
Isn't that back-to-back games where Alonzo didn't play a minute in the 4th quarter?
Yes, it is.
I mean, they're not trusting him.
So you have to take him up.
I don't
If
think
you
I
saw
would
the
either.
shots he was missing. He was missing a 3, getting a steal, coming down. There's nobody back on D at all. Missing another 3.
I don't think his brother helped his cause. I think it's a lot of it is mental.
But anyways,
I think he's got a lot of distractions right now. I'm giving him a pass. He's going to be a fine NBA player, but ever since he came into the league, he's got a lot of going on. His mom had a stroke, and she's recovering, and now the whole thing with now the whole thing with his brother, and obviously all the hoopla revolving around his dad.
I'm going back to him being a bust.
I don't think he's a bust. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to figure it out eventually.
Him a bust any more than I'm going to call Embiid's good, because I'm still thinking any day now with Embiid that. I'm not sure yet that he's going to make it.
I mean, if Embiid can stay healthy, his ceiling is the best center of all time.
The game before that, he had 32 against DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, and Blake Griffin, he was just destroying them. He has the highest foul draw rate, like non-shooting in the entire league. I think it's like 99th percentile. Maybe there's 2 people above him. And then he has
6 block shots.
7 block shots.
7 block shots. 6 or 7 assists.
7 assists. Yeah, 14 rebounds.
So when you see Simmons to Embiid, you also see Embiid to Simmons. That's going to be like a real dynamic duo.
Did you see what he said after the game? He said, "I'm still only at 50. No, make it 69%." Yes. He says he's still only at 69% physically, and he's putting up 46.
Did you hear about the Rocky runs?
Yes, he's incredible. He's been doing that for a while.
9 o'clock at night, and he's out running the streets of Philadelphia doing Rocky runs.
He needs a statue.
Yes, he's going to be not only the face of Philly, he might end up being the face of the NBA.
I want to watch him, because we've been waiting for a big man for a long time, and here he is.
He's so fantastic.
And then when they asked him after the game, they said, you and Ben Simmons seem to really be forming a cohesive unit. And he's like, it's not just Ben and myself.
It's not either.
It's the whole team. They've put veterans around me. He gave a shout out to your boy Redick. But yeah, that's.
But also my boy Saric. I really think I like Saric a lot. I know you guys don't, but I think he's a key player on the team.
Saric,
where did Covington come from?
Everybody seems to know their role on that team.
Saric is the least significant contributor on that team.
You had to give him a dig. I think he's good. I think he's a good, strong player.
For that teame, he's an important sixth best player.
Redick's the one that didn't play well last night.
Yeah, but still, even when Redick plays poorly, his ability to create so much space on offense is so obvious. Yes. The gravity that he has as a player moving off balls.
Oh, yeah, he could go 1 for 10, and you're still going to guard him heavy on the 3-point line.
Saric doesn't have the same gravity.
He contributes the same way that Redick does.
No, he doesn't.
Not the same things, but equally, he brings it. And you
don't see it. I know he doesn't stretch the D the same way. The defenses accommodate Redick so much more than they do Saric. They don't respect Saric's shot.
But Redick is not rebounding like Saric, and Redick is not playing defense like Saric, and Redick is not getting loose balls in 50-50s like Saric.
Redick is as good as a defender as Dario Saric.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is, absolutely.
Dario Saric is 6'8", 6'9".
So what?
It's a different game.
They defend different
guys playing in different spots. He contributes the same way. We're going to disagree on that.
So can you imagine?
Keep watching him.
Of course, Philly had the earlier pick. Can you imagine if Philly picked Jason Tatum instead of Markelle Fultz? I know it's something, it's a make-believe world, but
maybe they wouldn't have taken him.
It's interesting because the play type that they're missing is a deep offensive threat that they can create their own shot if Ben Simmons is out of the game, or if Ben Simmons is maybe in foul trouble, or whatever it is.
Redick is that.
And no, Markelle Fultz is that, and they have him, and he's going to develop, and he's going to be good.
He's going to be nothing right now.
Yeah, obviously he's nothing right now. He's not playing, but he's going to be good. He's going to be fine.
I can't imagine how good they would be with Tatum. That added element. I mean, they would be one of the most special offensive teams in the league.
But while you're talking about Tatum, and I brought this to the table before, Kuzma was awesome. And Kuzma, did you see him take it to Embiid?
He tried to dunk on him.
Yeah, but it was an awesome take.
He almost had it. Embiid laughed after.
That was like Eric Abney on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the AAUs. Yeah, it went off the back of the rim, but it was pretty impressive. And he had 23 and 7.
He had some nice shots. His ability to create offense looks
And
like
he
he's going to be able
wasn't
to do
in
it
the
at
fourth
any
quarter.
level. He looks very impressive. I'm not worried about either Fultz or Ball. I think they're both going to be fine once they get their feet underneath them and maybe just their role a little bit more established. It's only 15 games.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing LA is competing, because if LA was not competing, Ball would be buried right now.
They're going to fall. They're going to fall, and they're going to have bad stretches.
Oh, you know who I like Randall, and I'm wondering whether he would fit the Celtics 8.4 in any way.
Well, they're not going to. I don't think we would move for him, because they're only going to move him if it's attached to a salary, and we don't have the space to take in a salary, or if they're getting back reputable draft picks or something like that. And I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Well, eventually we're going to fill that spot. I'm kind of wondering what type
I like
of
our patience. I like our patience.
I like our patience. I'm also I'm not sure that a big is the right guy to take either.
We'll see. Someone could get bought out.
I think Embiid, instead of the process, he should eventually just be called the result.
I like the process. The process is so much better. It emulates what he was. And
I like how he went 46, 15, 7 and 7,
yeah.
And then he said afterwards, he said, "I wish I could have beaten Hassan Whiteside's block record."
Yeah.
Like he wanted more blocks.
No.
He's still not satisfied with that line.
His composure and just his understanding of Joel Embiid as a human being and his. The way he handles himself in terms of how he interacts with teammates, how he interacts with opponents, how he interacts with media is so elite level and so high level in terms of how he handles himself and how he understands how to agitate the right people, how to lift up certain people, when to compliment an opponent, when to joke and jab at an opponent.
Yeah, that's what he was doing with Lopez. Him and Lopez was smiling and joking with each other.
He understands what the league needs in a star, and he is emulating it so perfectly.
He's had 2 years to think about it.
Well, he's doing such a good job, and he's the best. He's the best player in the league, social media wise. So he's just fitting. He's fitting the modern NBA so well. His game fits it. His style, he's the unicorn style. We want him.
God, yeah. What has he played? 43 games in 4 years.
As a team, Philly's really risen. And when you look at Philly in the East right now, if that team stays tight and together,
you don't want to play them. You don't want to play them in the playoffs. You don't want to play them in the playoffs.
You know, I don't know how to rank the teams in the East anymore in back of Boston.
Well, I had them 6th at the start of the year. I think they're probably going to finish 6th. Like
we all said, knowing that Embiid's played, like, you know, before the season started, he had played what? 30-something games in 3 years. Yeah. Now it's, you know, he's in his 4th year, he's at 43. And we all said, if he could play even 60-70% of the season, then they're going to be a playoff team. They could be top part of the play. They could be home court.
If they play,
I think he's going to play 70 games for them to be a top 4 type team, a top 3 type team. He's going to play almost every game.
I don't think they're in the top.
He's already playing a lot more minutes.
Lose a lot. Yeah, but that's nerve-wracking. I don't know if I necessarily like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the differentials on and off differentials for him are ghastly. They're crazy how much better they perform with him on the court. Yeah. Everything from rebounding to three-point shooting.
But look at his minutes now.
It's completely altered.
Like it was 32 minutes against the Clippers, I believe, and it was like 36 last night or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So
they played 30,
and
34.
And they were in like 2 games in 3 days on the West Coast. That's well.
I think if they are the 6th seed and they play the Raptors or the Wizards, I think that's a 7-game series regardless. I think that the Wizards would beat them, but I think they could beat the Raptors.
You know what I want to see? I want to see the Celtics right now have a 5-game lead on Cleveland in the division. I want to see Cleveland finish in a spot where they've got to slug it out before they get to the Celtics, and certainly Philadelphia would have to slug it out. They'd have to slug it out with a lot of teams down there. Milwaukee, they'd have to slug it out with. They'd have to slug it out potentially even with Detroit and Toronto. I hope they get demolished before they even get to the Celtics, and the Celtics have home court advantage. That's our hope.
All right, good start.
Probably touched on some topics on the wheel that we didn't hit yet.
Let's land on Sloan. Oh, there's no Sloan.
LeBron James. All right, so I threw him on there because in his 15th season, he's 32 years old. I really feel like people aren't aware of how just supernaturally this guy is essentially like a dynamite demigod on the basketball floor who's like talent and intellectual ability to perform is oozing onto the floor. And I don't think people understand how really good this guy is. Everyone's just like, oh, he's really good. Statistically, he has the ability to finish a top like 5 in like 6 categories. So right now he's 7th in scoring.
Can he get to number 1?
So it's easy.
Scoring?
It's easy. So okay, for the rest of his career, if he plays 8 more years, and if he averages 20 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game, over a 3, over a steal, and just under 1 block per game, that will make him first all-time scoring by a lot. Like right now, he's 29,000. If he did that, the parameters I just said, he would hit 40,000. Assists, he would be 3rd all-time, behind only Stockton and Jason Kidd, if he did that, ahead of Nash, ahead of Magic, ahead of Oscar, ahead of Mark Jackson. Rebounds are a little different. Right now, he's 82nd, but he would get all the way to 26, which doesn't sound that crazy, but rebounding is so much more of a prolific statistic. He would be ahead of players like Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Dave Cowens, Ben Wallace. That's where he would finish ahead of those guys. Steals, he would finish 3rd all-time, ahead of Michael Jordan, ahead of Gary Payton. Blocks, he would finish top 50 all-time, ahead of some very prolific shot blockers. And three-pointers, it's going to change because of how the shift is coming in the league currently. But if the list stayed pat the way it is right now, he would finish 3rd all-time. And I'm shifting it because he'll probably finish 5th all-time.
This is with the reduced pace, right? Like he's not going to continue at the same pace.
At least for a little while.
He's going to average 20 points per game, 7.
Okay.
Yeah, if he averages those statistics. But I'm saying for threes, he'll be 5th behind Steph and Clay, because Steph and Clay are going to get there. So if he's first, 3rd, top 50, and then like 3rd and 7th for every statistical category, like this guy is a behemoth. Like I don't think.
And he has been since the day he came into the league, virtually. You know, from the day he stepped on the court out of high school. Let's take the statistics away, and do players like playing with LeBron? And what we've learned from Kyrie now, do they like playing with LeBron like they like playing with Larry Bird, like they like playing with Magic Johnson? I don't know. I am assuming they like playing with Michael Jordan. I don't know whether you like playing with LeBron. There's too much there. He controls too much of the team, and you're seeing what happened with Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie is growing as a player in front of our eyes right now, and I think there must be a lot of guys that are like that look at whether it's a Love or a Tristan Thompson or anybody on that team, and I would not hold that against him, but you got to look beyond the statistics in terms of when you want to rate the guy the greatest of all time, I guess.
Well, back to statistics a little bit. Statistically, it tests out that every single one of his teammates throughout his career, with an exception here and there, perform a lot better when LeBron James is on the floor with him, in contrast to when he's off the floor.
Of course, because he sees things that nobody else sees. He's almost got like a third eye, because he can always see how things not only are happening with spacing, but how they're going to happen.
But you never get a feeling that you're part of the team with LeBron. You always feel like you're subordinate to him. And then maybe you felt that way with Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
No, I don't know. It's worse. It's worse. He's getting worse and worse too with his
he has to
ego.
right now because of the condition of the team and the things he has to do. But
I think right now that's true. But I think that's because there's such a large disparity between him and all of his team's performance. But if you look back when in his prime Heat years with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, that did have the vibe of a team. You know what I mean? And Shane Battier and Udonis Haslem and everyone on that roster, you know that they had a role, and everyone respected the role and respected one another, and you could tell that was a tight-knit group. And that something, even though I don't think Spoelstra is as good as a coach as everyone talks about, kudos to him, because he does really instill that chemistry factor into those players, and you could see it there. Now, I agree with you, not as much, but that's because the rest of his players on the team, they're not performing at a high enough level, championship caliber level. Kyle Korver is the only player that is performing to his role adequately so far this season. Every single other player.
But he's hitting this too.
He is, but overall, he's the only player that's performing for what is expected of him. Everyone else is below that, if not in the basement of that. So
I think people still recognize LeBron's brilliance, but I think he's just losing the fanmanship a lot because of his, not letting some kid on the Knicks get by him, and all of a sudden he's starting a feud with the lowly Knicks.
I think that was
it's all getting stupid.
That was all Frankie Cigarettes. I know LeBron set it up by what he said, but LeBron, he never.
Why does he even talk about people that if he's the king? Why is he talking about the lowly peasants? He doesn't need to talk.
He's not. Did you not hear him in the interview post game where Enes Kanter was talking about it left and right, and then LeBron heard the comment and he was like, I'm not even going to talk about this guy. This guy is nobody. He literally said that.
He did say
And then he said he's the king of New York.
Said
and
that
then
they should have taken Smith instead of Frankie.
Which is 100% true.
He said he put it on Phil, but he did say that.
You're right, he did. It wasn't
why did
meant
he have to say that?
Because it wasn't meant to be a dig towards Frankie Cigarettes. It was him making a statement
I don't
against Phil
agree. He
Jackson.
backtracked to say that. He didn't say that then. He said that
It was
after
so
it came
obvious that
down
that's what
hard
it was
on
supposed
him.
to be.
He
He doesn't have a beef against Frank Cigarettes. He doesn't have a beef against the Knicks
right,
currently.
you don't
He has
have
a
to
beef
get-
against Phil Jackson, and he likes Dennis Smith. Those guys are proven to have a relationship
friends.
that existed before, and they're friends.
Yes.
And he's obviously, Dennis Smith is dynamite and is an incredible player, and he projects to be
But
a
I think
superstar in the league.
sometimes
LeBron says a lot of things he doesn't have to say.
LeBron was projecting and was
LeBron
complimenting
feels as though-
him. Everyone took it. Was like, oh,
LeBron
he
feels
said
as though
should
he
win.
is set apart from everything and everybody else in the league, and that
He is.
can. Okay, but I mean, handle
But we
it a
get
little
it.
differently.
Everybody gets it, though. That's the thing. Is he doesn't have to keep ramming it down everybody's throat. Okay, we get it. You're the best.
I'll take,
He's not like MJ, where
Let
it's fun to
take
root
my
for
brother
him.
Jim's
MJ didn't
perspective.
gloat. MJ
My
didn't
brother
say he was
Jim's
the best player.
perspective on this guy is: you go and watch him play, and once you see how many times in situations he is complaining to the referees, he is controlling that game with the referees to an extent that no player ever has. I mean, Larry Bird's trash talk was behind the scenes.
yeah.
He is actually trying to coerce what's going on in that game.
He dribbles
by,
the
I'm
ball.
the king, and this is what I say. You better listen to me, Mr.
He dribbles
Ralph.
the ball into the backcourt. You know, obviously a misstep. It doesn't happen very often. And then he's so adamant that the player
He's the
touched
best.
the ball, and then he
can handle
won't
it
give
better.
the ball back to the ref. I'm so sick of him.
His personality.
He's the best, though.
He has a questionable personality in terms of how he displays his knowledge of the game when he's on the court, because he is the smartest player and smartest human being on the floor at all times.
He's also
When he
the
plays,
most. I think he's the most arrogant
he's-
superstar that the NBA's ever had.
He's very smart. He knows
Who's
the history
smarter?
of the game, but he is not the only one in that league. There's many guys that know the history of the game.
He has the highest IQ in the league right now.
With what basketball IQ? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
yeah.
Well, how do you qualify that? How do you quantify highest IQ in the league? There's many guys in the league that are smart players.
There.
Yeah.
I mean, Al Horford's a smart player.
Is there a B-ball Wonderlic?
I'm not willing to defer to him. There's no measure of that. You can say that, but
LeBron's understanding of the game at all levels, offensively, defensively, transition, coaching schemes, players' roles, when and where to capitalize in certain situations, everything that his thought process in every game is so far and ahead beyond what everyone else is thinking. It's just obvious. It's obvious. It's clear that he is the smartest player on the court. I feel like
yes.
it's unspoken.
In individual games, it is obvious that he dominates the game that way.
He's not like, in terms of him in comparison to other greats all time that have this mental edge and this mental fortitude. He doesn't have that quality. He doesn't have this mental strength that these other people have. He's a little bit more weak-minded. So when things happen and he's faced with something going wrong, and he knows it's going wrong because he knows what's correct, whether it's a turnover or a misplay or a foul that doesn't get called, his brain operates in the way that he should complain to the ref because it should have been called a certain way. And because he's right, and because he knows he's right.
He's not always right.
I would say like 93% of the time when he complains, he's right. It's
So
just he
when he
shouldn't
didn't
complain
give the
because
ball
he's a
back,
jerk.
I mean, dribbling the ball.
He shouldn't complain because complaining's lame.
Well,
but the fact that he is complaining is justified.
Selfish baby.
You know what I think one thing he misses? And
I don't think a baby is
And my brother Dan, this is part of his, and he gets it from my father, and part of it is that in order to achieve, you need to pass the credit. And when it's coming, the way to get other guys to do things is to talk about how good they're doing things.
Positive
LeBron
reinforcement.
talks about how good he does things and really doesn't build up his other players so that he passes that credit along and then they become better because he doesn't talk about himself, he talks about them. Then it comes all the way around full circle and you end up getting credit for that. But he knows he's a smart guy and he plays the role of the smartest guy.
When his teammates perform at the level they're supposed to perform,
and whose criteria?
He gives them due
and
credit.
LeBron's criteria.
In
so
general,
he
consensus
what other
criteria.
player in the league sets the criteria how every player in that his team is supposed to play tonight?
Post games, he gives props to Kyle Korver. He shed a positive light on some of Kevin Love's games so far this season. But I don't want him going out there and saying JR made a couple good plays this game when overall JR was putrid.
But
he
see,
doesn't
you
need to do that.
You didn't get what I just said, though. The reason that you do that is so that JR starts to play better. And JR will, if you start passing the smallest amount of credit to these guys, they'll start playing better.
You don't think that he does that in practices and in stuff like that?
Well, I think he does the obvious.
Right.
I think he does the obvious. If Kyle Korver scores 19 points in the fourth quarter, he'll say something good about him. But that's not the time the guy needs to have something good said about him. And he spends too much time playing the role of king. And he is the king. But he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to wear that on his shoulder all the time.
It's not easy to root for.
And that's his personality.
Sure. And even when they asked him about IT, he's like, it's been a while since I've had a second go-to scorer with me. What are you kidding me?
Yeah,
what
he's a hilariously petty person. It's like that's part of that.
He's still holding it against Kyrie.
That aspect of him
and
is
hilariously
so
petty. I've never heard of hilariously petty.
I think that.
I don't think that.
Well, that's a way of dressing up petty.
I think that aspect.
I guess you love LeBron so much you can't say he's petty. He's hilariously petty.
He is petty. He is
hilariously petty.
His subtweeting culture is enjoyable to experience.
We got three generations of basketball fans here.
I just want to shake your hand because it's nice to have somebody. Because it's nice to have somebody on my side.
3 generations of basketball fans. You're apparently the generation that will excuse any sort of behavior coming from LeBron.
I mean, I'm not excusing certain behavior.
I hope that his number one thing in his legacy will be top scorer of all time, the points. If he gets the points, I think that will be the major thing.
I think that it's.
I already think he's top 3 all time as far as a basketball player, but I just hate him. I just hate the guy.
Yeah. He's easily top 3. It's like not even a question that he's top 3 already.
He's amazing, and he's actually having an incredible start right now. His season right now has been very, very consistently.
Some of the passes he makes, it's like Magic Johnson would be jealous.
So that's something that actually what spurred me to think about where he would sit once he's done with his career statistically overall. I was just thinking about who are the best passers of all time and like in the league right now. And all time is something that we can talk later. But for probably 3 or 4 years, I think LeBron James has been the best passer in the league.
Oh no!
Why not?
No.
Because
he's better
John Wall.
John Wall. He's not a creative passer.
No, he's not.
What? What are you talking about? Baseline to baseline, he's in one corner, he hits the person in the other corner with swooping it out of bounds in the pass.
Well,
he passes between people's legs.
Stop. I mean, his cross-court passes, he's 6'8". He's looking over the top of everybody. He sees that guy with perfect vision, and that pass is not a hard pass for him.
So because of how elite he is as an athletic specimen.
We're talking about passing.
And because no one else in the world can make that pass, but because that pass is normal
for him. Guys that can make that cross-court pass at a 6'8", 6'9".
No, who? Ben Simmons? That's it, maybe.
Ben Simmons, that's it.
What other 6'9" player can make the
I don't think I would put LeBron in the top 20 all time.
LeBron.
Oh my God!
The passing.
Oh my God!
The passing. That's all.
He's top 12 already. Passing.
He doesn't see the pass early.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He just waits until it develops, until his players can shoot it right away, because he wants the most efficient shot for his player, and he knows if he gives it to Iman Shumpert with 6 seconds left in the shot clock, he's going to dribble it like an idiot and then take a bad shot. But if he gives it to Iman Shumpert with 2 seconds left in the shot clock, he's going to take a higher efficiency shot.
He's very anticipatory on both sides of the ball. You know, he sees plays develop, like I was saying. And, you know, even last night, and this is not talking about passing, I'm sorry, but he took a shot, kind of bricked it, followed a shot, somebody else got the rebound, ran back, and then on a fast break, they tried to pass it up the floor, and he stole it, came back, and had the fiercest dunk of the night.
Yes.
It's like he's so anticipatory.
And
he sees, passing lanes on the other side.
To support you a little bit, Shay, I would say that LeBron's excellence, part of it is that he can make the game look simple. And he really can. So when he's doing his rim runs with a dribble, which is amazing that he's doing rim runs with the ball in his hand, his finish is so pure and easy when he actually gets there and throws everybody off his shoulders. He just lays it in like that and makes it look, and you don't, maybe the cross-court pass you don't appreciate that much because he's pretty fundamentally sound with all his passes.
There's countless times in the game when he makes passes.
To say best passes, have you ever seen him make a behind-the-back pass at that wowsia?
Yes, he made do you remember
a no-look pass at Wowzer?
You remember, didn't he make a behind-the-back pass between Jabari Parker's legs in the half court from the three-point line to a cutting player on baseline?
I would remember that, but
pretty sure that happened last year.
Okay.
And it was like the best pass of the entire year.
You're certainly to the extreme of a LeBron person, and it's and you've got a lot on your side. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
All right, we can spin the wheel.
All right. You're welcome, LeBron.
We'll have a top 10 passer debate at some point.
And LeBron will not be in the top 10.
LeBron might be.
Unless you bring him.
He might be. He might be in the top 10.
College hoops.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, all right, so my college basketball started. There's some kind of exhibition type games where they have like State Farm Classic and stuff like that, and some of them were entertaining. There was a Duke Michigan State game where I watched probably 80% of the game, and that was actually a pretty exciting game. But then the Kansas-Kentucky game after that was just putrid. It's really hard after watching the first couple weeks of NBA basketball to just get fully immersed into college basketball, and I find that when my peak of my interest is the weeks leading up to March Madness, and that's why I find I'm most attentive to it, because that's why I look past kind of the lacking ability of play on the floor to seeing actually the good aspects of the game. So I love it. I think it's great. Basketball is basketball. And
I think part of that, Shay, and I don't know whether you agree with it or not, is that you really don't have a team. I've got 3 teams that I live and die with, and I will be watching those teams play, and I'm really vested on what I see with them. One's an ACC team, you know, it's the University of Virginia. I'll watch and listen to every single one of their games. I love what I'm seeing there. They've got this guy, they've got a freshman right now, and his name is Jay Huff. He's 7'1".
Yeah,
he hit his first 6 shots of his career. 2 of them were threes. It's very interesting to see a guy come onto the scene like this. I don't know how good he's going to be overall. Providence and URI. I follow every one of their games. URI, unfortunately.
How are they doing? Give us a.
EC Matthews is out.
Bummer.
He broke his wrist
in
the second game of the season. It's devastating for that team. Right out of the gate, that happens to him. Providence has got Emmett Holt didn't come back because of stomach surgery. I'm not really sold on that team, but I saw Providence play Minnesota. Minnesota looked really good. I really like watching Minnesota. I don't like Pitino's son as a coach. He's weird. He's like a punky kid watching him coach. But this kid Murphy on that team, he's about 6'8", and he's got a motor like Fareed, and he can finish and score and shoot like Fareed. URI played Nevada. They've got this guy, his name is Caroline, his last name. He's about 6'6", 6'7", and he had the same type of a motor as Fareed with finishing and scoring. These guys scoring 25, 30 points. Murphy had 35 in his first game. So I'm seeing those type of things because I'm vested in a team completely. Yeah. So it couldn't be UMass right now, Shay, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. My perspective on college basketball is the games that I watch mainly have prospects that are going to be a top 10 player in the NBA draft. So I watched the Duke games because they have Marvin Bagley, and I try to watch Texas because they have Mo Bamba, and I'm going to follow Michigan State.
Yeah, how's Mo Bamba? He's on my list.
I think the one game he played was an exhibition game. It was on like the 10th, and he had like 15-8 and like 5 blocks. And he just looks like he's going to be a defensive beast. He's going to come into the league. He's going to have the biggest.
Is his offense coming along? That's what I hear.
It's getting there.
New York City.
It's getting there. So he's going to have the large. His wingspan ranges in rumors from 7'8" to 8 feet. Wow. So they don't know how big his wingspan is, but regardless of the lowest aspect perception of it, it's going to be the largest one in the NBA. And he looks like he's an explosive athlete who's going to have rim running potential, who might be able to shoot the 3, but doesn't really have much other offensive potential. He seems like imagine a little bit weaker DeAndre Jordan who might be able to stretch the floor with a shot. That's kind of what he seems like, but defensively, he has the ability to lead a top 5 defense in the NBA with no other defense.
I'll tell you one thing you're missing about your approach of watching the games. And one thing you're missing, you're watching the one and dones. The one and dones are not panning out as the best teams in college basketball. The last 2 years, there have been no one and dones in the Final Four either year. Villanova and North Carolina have won. They've been veteran teams. So you get vested in a team with the veteran teams, and that's how you get the enjoyment of the game. I want to watch a team. I like watching the players.
I don't know.
Bagley takes a poke in the eye, and I kind of turn the station.
His eye was like.
Oh, it was a bad poke.
That looked ugly.
But he's played well. 25 and 10, 24 and 10.
Well, what do you think about that? You think the one and dones are not? I know Duke won one year and Kentucky won one year, but the one and dones are not generating the teams that are winning championships.
Well, Duke's best player is a senior, Grayson Allen, put 30 up,
37.
38,
if he can change his attitude, if he can establish that his attitude has changed.
I think he's already kind of changed it.
Of course, nobody likes Duke. Nobody likes Krzyzewski.
There's no way he could get worse than tripping people.
For some reason,
I don't do that anymore.
He bulked up a little bit. He looked fearless with shooting the ball. I mean, he shoots the ball, and his fingertips are like practically touching the fingertips of the defender. And it's just, he's cold-blooded.
Top 5 shooter in college basketball is Kyle Guy from University of Virginia. You should check this guy out. He had a man bun last year.
I remember Reddick. That was fun.
How many of the
top 10?
He can really shoot. He put on weight too. He's much
How many of the teams that you follow play 2-3 defense more often than not?
Well,
because I find that really hard to watch.
Yeah,
gross.
I understand what you're saying, but URI is a tremendous man-to-man team. It comes from Hurley. It comes from his father down to him. One of the best defensive coaches in the country.
That's another thing. Coaches overcoach way too much.
Oh God!
Time after time, subs make no sense. They run weird plays. Like I don't know.
I definitely agree with that.
Bennett. Now Tony Bennett is
Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett is the best coach.
I think Tom Izzo overcoaches.
I wouldn't.
He's down to a zone offense. Even when they start blowing the cover, Duke starts blowing the cover off him. You know, get rid of that offense. Call a different play. You know, don't. So,
but you like Tom Izzo, you said.
I do like him, but I think he was overcoaching in that game, and I think that's why they lost.
I want young blood.
All of them overcoached.
Because they're giving it to a center every time. A bounce pass to the middle. The center can't even knock down a 12-foot shot off the backboard. So you can't base an offense off of a center in the middle if they're not going to respect his shot. They don't have to respect his shot. And then all of a sudden, Duke's just grabbing rebounds, going the length of the court, and just dunking on him.
But anyways, there are some strong defensive man-to-man teams out there, and Virginia and URI would be two of them.
Good. All right, so maybe I'll watch those more attention.
I would have to get a divorce if I watched all college basketball because I already have the Patriots, the Red Sox, and the Celtics. Yeah. So she's not going to give me that.
I got a crossover.
Let's hear it.
Tom Brady,
yes,
who connects with the Celtics and Belichick and everything. I mean, you know, do your job, all that stuff. It's really connecting. I like the coaches are saying. This year, he has forced 6 penalties by catching the other team with the 12th man on the field, and nobody else in the league has done it more than once.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is out. Aaron Rodgers does that all the time.
Yeah. Amazing, all the time. 6 times this year he's caught. I always thought it was the defense making a mistake. No. And one of my friends today told me Peyton Manning did the same thing, and that's where Brady got it from.
That gets you first downs. Why not?
But he's seeing it. It's amazing the presence of that guy to make that play happen. You got to have you got a toe that's not off the field. He's getting that snap for a penalty. He's cool.
That's
really cool.
That's presence of the entire field. That's what LeBron has.
To finish off the college hoops, the other top 5 guys, Michael Porter left the first game after a couple minutes. He hurt his hip. Yeah. Hopefully he'll be back. He looks like he's going to be really exciting. DeAndre Ayton, I think I might have DeAndre Ayton number 1 on my board right now, if not Luka Doncic. I'm not sure, but Luka is obviously a foreign player. He's playing great. But DeAndre Ayton just looks like a man among boys out there. He had 19 in both games. I think he had 13 rebounds and 12 rebounds in the other ones. 3 blocks in both games, and he just looks like he can get whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And the issues that people were projecting with his attitude and his motor don't look to be there right now, and he looks more motivated. Maybe Sean Miller, that's the coach of Arizona, right?
Yep.
No. Yeah. And he looks like he might have actually lit a match underneath him that wasn't there before, and what people were drawing.
What's Sean Miller's brother's name? Because he's coaching who now? Indiana? He's coaching Indiana now. So I'm confused which one's Sean now. I said yes, and now I'm trying to backtrack.
I like Miles Bridges a lot. MSU.
Yeah, he's a top 10 pick.
There's another guy that's coming back and playing. There's a lot of 5th years out there. I'm seeing. Oh yeah. That's going to be a new cult out there. There's guys that are either redshirting their freshman year. Virginia redshirts a lot of guys. This guy Jay Huff redshirted. And guys coming back and playing their 5th year. There's a lot of them out there that you're seeing. He's going to probably be one of them. The guy that was disappointing to me was Bagley, and I know he didn't play that much. But
he looked good in his first other 2 games.
I didn't think so.
Other 2 games.
He's dominant left hand, which really exposes that he doesn't have a right hand. And then on defense, his brain to his feet is working real slow.
I agree with that.
Okay, that's bad.
So something I'm curious with him, that he might not be a center. He might be more of a.
I was surprised how frail he is.
I think he needs. Thin. I'm thinking if I was his trainer or whatever, his personal accomplice, I think I would tell him to work on his speed and his agility and his explosiveness more than his strength, because it seems like if he can transition, and it seems like he has a stroke, and it seems like he has a moderate enough of a handle on the offensive end and an understanding of when to go certain ways and spacing, that if he could transition and be a 3-4 more than a 4-5, that would succeed more at the next level. And I don't know. Right now, it just seems like he's a 3 trapped in a 5 body that is forced to be a 5 because of his responsibilities on his current team. And he's doing it, and he's doing it well because he's great. And he's a top 5 prospect, top 5 talent.
He's sliding.
But I think that he's going to be, he might, right now, the way it looks right now, I think he's going to be lower, like you're saying. I think he's probably going to be 5 out of those 5 guys, out of Bamba, Ayton, Porter, and Doncic. he looks like he's going to be either 4 or 5. When he reclassified, people were saying he's number 1, but I think he's more around 4 or 5, which is still great. He's still going to be a good player. And if he's around 4 or 5, this could be a player that the Celtics might be snagging. So I'm interested in him, and if he's the 4 role more so, I think he would slide in on the Celtics pretty well, depending on how he projects. But we'll see. Any final thoughts on the?
Well, on the college scene, there's one New England local player that's really worth watching. That's this guy, Mason from Yale. He played 2 years ago. He played in the Civic Center in the NCAAs, and they beat Baylor, which is a great game. I saw the game. And after the game, Baylor got him to commit to playing a 5th year out there because he plays so well. It's the truth. So he's going to finish his career at Yale, and next year.
How is that allowed?
And next year he's playing at Baylor. That's pretty interesting. That's what I'm saying.
He's a real smart guy, so he's very good at filling out paperwork.
He had to sit out the year. He hurt his foot bad in the NCAA. Sat out all last year. So during the sit out of last year, it became obvious that he's going to be a 5th year, and Baylor has already got him lined up. Coming next year.
That's crazy.
The 5th years.
All right, let's go back to the pros. Huh?
Yeah. Good player, Makai Mason. Very good player. Good point guard. One of the best.
You said so many names there that I had no clue who the person was.
Check out Makai.
All right, Boston Celtics, 13 games in a row. We're looking like the best team in the league. Of course, that's going to be put to the test tonight against the actual best team in the league, the Golden State Warriors.
Oh boy.
Give me some.
At least we're number 2.
Give me some thoughts on what you think from players and how they're performing in the streak, and what you think we're going to look like tonight.
I'm still going with the J team. I tried the officer and the gentleman. It didn't really work.
Here's what I'm thinking. So,
gentleman and a scholar.
When you talk about Jaylen Brown, you only say Jaylen. And when you talk about Jason Tatum, you only say Tatum. So why can't we just call him Jaylen Tatum?
Well, Jaylen Tatum, we can do that.
That's one name, and you're talking about both players. One name, you're talking about both players. Jaylen Tatum.
You know what I'm looking for tonight is, and I love it. They're really, really achieving at a high level. For the first time in maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. When's the last time they both played well together on the same night?
Jaylen Tatum?
Yeah. I would like to see that tonight.
I think collectively Tatum is playing better, and I think Tatum's probably starting to get a little annoyed by inwardly. He's never going to show it, but I think he's getting a little annoyed probably by everybody lumping them together because I think he is outperforming Jaylen. But, this team needs Jaylen in order to succeed. I think he's sort of their X factor for them to be able to play the style of ball that they need to.
Jaylen's playing the most minutes on the team.
I'm noticing, are you guys noticing, they are using Rozier, Smart, and Kyrie at the end of almost every big game or close game.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that. But one thing I noticed is that, obviously last game they didn't shoot well, and also they haven't for the year. Marcus Smart is at 29%, and Rozier is not hitting.
He needs to stop shooting.
But the guy they brought in first wasn't Kyrie. The guy that scored with him was Morris. And Morris played the 4th way. Are they going to, and this is what I was thinking before when we were talking about, do you add a big? I mean, I'm hearing that they really don't want Greg Monroe, and that Monroe's going to be available. Is that the type of guy we want, or do we want a shooter for that second team? And just to throw a name out there, because I am a UVA guy, I thought Joe Harris played really well, and that kind of a shot.
That was the best game in the last 2 years that he played.
I'm just that type of a game, that type of play brought to the Celtics second team. Is that what they need more than a big?
I don't want them to add a Greg Monroe. I think they're already rebounding way better than they did last year. They're rebounding, and then their defensive efficiency. They have like 7 or 8 individual players that have the top 12 defensive
ratings.
Individual defensive ratings.
8 of the top 10.
8 of the top 10? That's amazing.
It is.
And it's almost like
video game. And was also amazing who number 1 was. What was number 1? He's like somebody so obscure.
Aaron Baines.
Yeah, who the heck is Anthony Tolliver?
Well, number 1 on the Celtics is Aaron Baines.
He doesn't play a ton of minutes.
Yeah, that's right. So that's true. But I agree
with you. And Daniel
Tice? One thing I saw, the last game of the game before that we were talking about, the rebounding is unbelievable. And it's Morris, Tatum, and Horford that they went for a rebound where they were like the 3 of us right here, where everybody on the other team was in back on. They all went for the ball together, and one of them secured the ball. That's really strong rebounding. When you get a wall being built like that,
and this is not a box-out league anymore. Nobody's getting a body on anybody anymore. I don't know what it is, but everybody's afraid to put a body on us. Well, let's,
There's several teams in the league that have the thought process that they instill in their players that when a shot goes up, if you're inside like you're outside like 15 feet,
you go back on defense.
You go back on defense, and it's
that's a given now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But it's a given
Or,
that you have to
or
do it.
watch the ball.
That's fundamental basketball. That's
the way you're supposed to play.
Yeah, you have to play like that. You can't crash
coach.
the boards the same way.
Right.
You need to get back on defense because it's such a threat coming down with that three. One thing about the Celtics that we've all talked about, and from the beginning of the season forward, is where's their leadership going to come from? Where's their chemistry? They got leadership all over that team.
Everywhere.
They got chemistry that's as good as, and man, we didn't see that coming, huh? Look at the leaders that are on that team. And I start with Kyrie, but I will also say Al Horford and Marcus Smart and Baines is a leader.
You can tell that they all have different leadership styles.
They do.
Smart is easily a leader on the floor. He's easily the leader of the second team.
Yeah. And that doesn't even,
I just wish that Smart wouldn't shoot as much.
I
think that Smart could be the guard version of a Dennis Rodman. But like, focusing more on
Johnson
passing.
Than a Dennis Rodman myself.
He can really drive and create his penetration and then kickbacks. Like he's got great vision. I think when he forces layups or he forces a 27-foot jumper with 15 seconds on the shot clock, it drives me nuts.
I thought Tommy had a good take on that, and it was again, you kind of got to listen to what he's saying. But what he's saying is that Marcus Smart needs to find where his shots are. And he doesn't really know where his shots are. And he's got the ability offensively, but he needs to find a couple go-to spots that are his shots that he catches on. And you're right, what he's doing all the time is he's saying, if I'm open for the three, I'm firing. Well, that's not necessarily your shot, Marcus. I don't mind you taking it.
He needs to let the shot
find him.
But
what is your shot? What is your shot? What is Marcus Morris's?
The right wing. The right wing is his most efficient three-pointer, and I like when he shoots that in stride, even though it's inefficient, and even though he's been ineffective. And I want him to keep shooting because he's going to have streaky games that help us win games.
And that goes across the board with that team. They all have the green light. Yeah. And I don't mind it with Brown. I didn't like it with Brown before.
Morris has definitely impressed me.
I
didn't watch him too much.
He's irritating. He's so irritating. His shot selection is like, it makes my skin crawl when he shoots the ball. I'm like,
I like his confidence. And he hits some big shots. He hits some big shots. I never really watched him much in Detroit, I have to admit. I didn't know he was that much of a scorer.
If you've watched Markieff Morris before, then you've watched him because they're literally the same player.
Okay, well, then I know.
Very close, but I think we got the best one.
I think he's better than Markieff.
I think he's better than Markieff, too.
And he's rebounding.
Markieff's kind of
I don't want to hear you play Morris down at all because I think Morris has been exceptional. And here's one thing was unbelievable. When he came out and played the point guard.
Yes.
Come on.
I'm very high.
He dug in. He got down low. He played the point guard in a game situation and took it away from him.
He's a good player to have on a young team.
I think that he is one of the more exceptional, gritty players in the league. And I think that his defensive impact is so obviously felt.
He had 10 defensive rebounds last game, and they were good defensive
rebounds.
The eye
test, watching him play when he's on defense, you're like, this guy is making a difference.
I like his offense.
But he's so interesting of a player, and the reason that I'm hesitant to say I'm all in on him is because of his entire MO and his entire style is this gritty, intense player that doesn't give a crap about anybody and will get up and bark in your face. But then his offensive game is pretty ticky-tacky and lame. Like it's
no way.
It's finicky. It's
ticky-tacky and lame.
Yes,
the guy had 21. The guy
all off fadeaway jump shots and step backs.
There's no power. Clutch shots.
Yeah,
shots when they need them.
Different. They don't line up with his style.
How about that drive where he just took it all the way on him and they never moved him and he shot right through.
That's the only shot I've seen all season. Only shot I've seen all season where he
makes his foul shot. He hasn't played that much. He's just started playing. Key player on this team.
I think he's a little bit of I don't really know what the right word is. Kind of like a fake guy on offense.
You're saying the old Red Auerbach fake hustle?
Yeah, I don't know because he has such high intensity, high grit, high just like you want that player on defense. You want him there, but then it goes to offense. You're like, that's not the same player.
Yes, you do.
He doesn't do that over there.
You want guys that are willing to take that ball and say, I'm going to score and then score, and he is doing that. I know he's missing shots, but he's coming back after.
I love that he's making them.
I think offensively he's just calculated, and I think you want him to be a bruiser.
That's a good word.
I think he thinks about things.
I think calculated is the wrong word. I think
we're all over shade today.
We're killing you.
Impulsive would be a better word than calculated. I really don't think that he's calculated. He doesn't think about the shot he's going to take. He gets the ball. He's a ball stopper. He's had one assist.
They're not wild shots, Shay. They're not wild.
They're kind of wild shots.
I think you're misunderstanding Marcus Morris.
I don't think so. I think I
Give him some
understand
time.
him perfectly. I like Marcus Morris, and I like that he's on the Celtics.
It doesn't sound like you like him.
I like that what he's providing. It's just his offensive game makes me queasy. That's all that I'm going to say.
I got you.
Well, that's Marcus Smart for me.
Okay, a little bit about Jalen. So Jalen, I think once he ups his IQ defensively, he's going to be a first-team All-NBA defender. And right now, he bites on too many fakes, and because of that fact, and because he's aware of the fact that he bites on fakes, sometimes he doesn't commit full. Because what we're seeing from Jalen in his defensive style on closeouts, he's one of the best shot shot defenders in the league on closeout jump shots.
Play on DeRozan.
On closeout jump shots. See, that's the play I was thinking about, and which sparked me to look into some stats. And his approach defensively is I'm going to explode every single time. When a player takes a shot, I'm jumping as high as I can. But when he starts to get nervous, it's when he takes up fakes, and people up fake him, and he bites on them, and he flies past them, and DeRozan hit him a couple times throughout the fourth quarter. So you can tell he held back a little bit on the last jump. But what I want from Jalen is I want him to go all out every single time and go jump as high as he can, and if he fouls, and he'll learn when not to jump by learning the players that he's playing against, tendencies, and when they up fake and when they don't up fake. And certain players are smart, and he's going to be smarter than that player, whatever that player is. Smarter than a lot of them.
DeRozan makes a lot of people look silly too.
Exactly.
I mean, he's the best up faker in the league. So.
He's one of them. He's one of them.
So he put him in the old popcorn pop.
He's filthy.
Cedric Maxwell would say. But what Heinsohn said on the last play was pretty good too. Is he said it's not so much that DeRozan didn't get a shot off. It's that the way Brown, as big and as long as he had to back up just a little bit further than he wanted to on that shot, and that's why it was short. He forced him. He got it off clean, but it was about a foot deeper than he wanted to be.
Elite
and
defender.
It made it front rim. The other thing he says about Jalen Brown that I think is accurate too is he's got to learn that when he has the ball, he doesn't have to score, but he has to make a play.
Yes.
And there's a lot of times when he's not making a play.
Oh, how many games has he played? You know, something like 30 to 40 minutes, and he's got 0 assists, 1 assist.
So
he's got a
low. He's got to make a play.
Assist rate.
That's not his role.
But it can be simple.
No, he misses
can
open
moving
people.
the ball. It can be just making the best second pass. He doesn't have to be an assist.
I deny you allowing to demerit Jalen Brown for that and not even thinking about that for Marcus Morris, because Marcus Morris is so much more of a villain in that aspect of the game. And Jalen Brown.
Different roles.
Okay, different roles. But I'm way more confident.
If you're an inside-outside.
Rozier and Smart. If he's on with Rozier and Smart, Marcus Morris last game, they needed somebody desperately that was going to be looking to take shots with the way they were shooting.
If Jalen's an inside-outside guy and he's penetrating and somebody's wide open on the wing, they have to get him.
Well, not the dunk.
He has to have better vision.
I think that's something that'll develop. I think right now he doesn't need that skill. I think that's
what
fine.
nice complementary players him and Tatum are.
Right, exactly. They work together.
And again, if one's not, the other one's scoring, then the other.
I'm worried tonight about Klay Thompson. I think Klay Thompson is going to run all over the floor. I think he's going to get open a lot, and I think he's going to be bad.
Who's going to play Durant?
I think he's going to be a bad man.
I think that he's not going to get open a lot, and I think he is going to run all over the place. And I think that Jalen Brown is going to trail him.
He's going to play who?
Like way on Rice.
No.
Klay Thompson.
No, who's going to play Durant?
Horford? Sometimes Horford and Tatum.
I see Brown on Tatum.
Horford and Tatum.
I see Brown on Durant.
I think Brown is a better defender. He's quicker at weaving through screens.
Okay.
He's a better shot defender. You want him on a guard.
Golden State is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
This is such a matchup nightmare.
I wouldn't even be surprised if we played a lot, especially when Kyrie.
Baines or Morris.
Well, if Zaza starts, then Bane has to start.
Well, they can match Horford up on him.
Zaza. I think that we're going to see a lot when Kyrie sits. Jalen's going to stay in the game, and Jalen's going to guard Steph. And I think that this could be one of the games where he starts to get a lot of hype and a lot of proclamation towards being this elite defender that he projects as. I was watching that Raptors game, and I was just saying he only needs a certain amount of moments on elite offensive players as a defender before people really start to give him the recognition that he really deserves as a defender.
Who does Kyrie guard if...
I'm saying when Kyrie goes to the floor, goes to the bench, because Kyrie's going to be playing Curry. But I think that overall, I don't think I'm that nervous about the matchup in terms of just defensive and offensive, how things work out. I think that our switch-heavy defensive scheme will be okay as long as everyone commits. Something that you saw that was a little nerve-wracking in the Nets game a little bit when they went on runs is when they put Marcus Smart and Jalen Brown in action, sometimes there was miscommunications. And those little things are something that Golden State will eat up. So I'm interested to see. I really hope Jalen dunks on Draymond. I hope Jason Tatum dunks on Draymond.
That's going to be one of my
Kyrie
fun
Irving
things
dunks
tonight.
on Draymond.
I hope so.
I'm not backing off on Draymond Green. I'm watching and just kind of following his numbers. I think he's a real strong player, and I know you guys don't like him. And
of course,
I'm going to be
I think
watching
we
that
agree
tonight.
he's a strong
let's
player.
Let's watch Draymond Green tonight, and let's see what he brings to the table.
He's an average player.
You've already seen him enough. You don't have to watch him.
I don't have to watch him.
Okay, if you don't have to watch him,
know
Shay,
about
then
him.
I'm not going to value your opinion because well, come on.
We should
I'm
get the
saying let's
picks.
watch him tonight
What are our
and
picks?
see how he plays.
I'm going to be watching the game. Like, it's not like I'm not going to be watching.
In protest of
think-
Draymond
He's
Green.
on the court. I'm not going to block him off where he is on the court.
On Draymond
I refuse
Green.
to watch this because of Draymond Green.
I like watching games, DVRing, and then going back and watching
I do that too.
details.
I have to DVR. I have a volleyball game.
Oh, that's great. But I don't know. I bet you there's going to be several times, and I wish you had a phone so I could text you the moments that Draymond Green makes defensive
I'm happy I don't have a
lapses.
We're going to get you a phone for Christmas.
I don't want a phone.
Defensive lapses tonight because
By
he
who?
makes them.
Who?
Draymond Green. He has lots
Okay.
of defensive lapses, and people just ignore them because he's
Look at the
some
assists.
defensive
Look at
god.
the rebounds.
So you don't have a computer?
His assists are the most inflated
Page on
statistic
Facebook.
in the entire
I
NBA.
don't-
Like,
but
don't
I-
even talk to me about his assists. He's not a good
I
passer.
do use a computer, but
All right,
I don't
we're
want anybody in there.
We're gonna quickly go to the
my 3 daughters and my wife.
new medals. While cycling through statistics yesterday, Cedric Maxwell, first all-time in true shooting percentage. Pretty interesting. That's a shot percentage statistic.
I got to start.
Cedric Maxwell, my
I got to start
boy.
for you.
Give me it.
Which team in the league has made the less passes? The fewest number of passes. Fewest number of passes in the league. It's an obvious one. And this team also has only had 3
Pelicans.
assists. 3 assists during
Pelicans.
crunch time.
New York Knicks.
3 assists this season. Think of
Oklahoma
that.
City Thunder.
OKC.
Okay.
Fewest
Yeah.
number of passes
I
in the
knew-
league.
I knew the
and
last-
only 3 assists at crunch
last
time
one.
this season. And what you
I gotta
see
give-
with that, and Paul George goes 42 and 37 with the smell out of the room.
I got to give
the
Barkley
smells out of the room.
credit. Charles Barkley, he said, when I got to Phoenix, they told me this is Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson's team. And he said, no, this is Chuck's team.
Yeah, they-
Because the best player has to be the best
They
player.
needed distinguished roles.
They-
I agree.
Westbrook has to be
you know
number
who the
one
second
there.
most frequent passing team in the league is?
Least frequent passing.
No,
team?
most.
Number 2 in
the
passes.
Warriors are number 1, most passes. Number 2?
Celtics.
Celtics.
No, we're like 5.
Yeah.
76ers, number 2.
76.
Oh, okay.
Their offense is
I can
awesome.
see that happening. But I think, do you
right, I guess
agree
we gotta
that
do rapid fire.
the Knicks are a lot better without the smell in the room, and also OKC would also be better without?
It's a terrible
I
nickname.
think they would be.
I think the Knicks are better just because
I think
everyone's
they would be,
roles
and
are more
OKC
clear.
is hurt and they're not playing well.
Okay, we got
George
medals.
didn't score last night, and he was back in
Medals.
the lineup.
Golden State at Boston Celtics.
Golden State, the run ends, but it was a good one.
I will not pick against the Celtics again this year.
Utah at
We're
Brooklyn tomorrow.
playing with house money.
Utah at Brooklyn. The Jazz lost Rudy Gobert. They're going to be out of the
Yeah, I'm
playoffs.
going
They're
Brooklyn.
going to lose. They're going to lose a lot of games without Rudy Gobert.
I'll go Brooklyn as well, but they have a good rookie. What's the rookie that
think
Utah?
that was-
Donovan Mitchell.
myself,
He's
I think that was
explosive.
a-
Donovan Mitchell is great.
The Clippers at Cleveland. I picked Cleveland.
The Clippers have fallen off. I'll go Cleveland.
Six losses in a row. Six losses in a row. You look good in the beginning, 4-0.
After a week, they were in first place. It's crazy.
Who you got?
Cleveland's going to end up 5th best in the conference, and that's going to be an accomplishment.
OKC at San Antonio.
San Antone can't go against.
It's
it.
rumored. It's
But they played
rumored.
bad
It's
this
rumored
week.
that
They
Kawhi
had
is going to
some
be
bad
back
games
soon.
this week.
Kawhi Leonard's sister said that he's going to be coming back this week. So
Well, that's good because
see.
they
Yeah,
lost.
we'll see what she knows.
They lost a tough one.
who you got?
Tom says something.
Who
I'm
you got?
going to go with I can't go with I got to go with San Antonio.
I gotta go San Antonio.
I picked OKC. Minnesota at Dallas. I picked the upset with Dallas. Dennis Smith has been the most exciting player to watch.
Yeah,
One of
but
the most-
Minnesota's been explosive lately. I go Minnesota.
They haven't been.
Yeah,
explosive
I'm
lately.
Yes, they
going
have.
to go with Minnesota.
Well, they've won 4 in a row since the Bledsoe trade.
Yeah, they have one of the bottom 5 net differentials.
They lost 4 in a row
Pelicans
before
at
Bledsoe.
Denver Nuggets.
Denver.
Oh yeah, Denver.
also
I
picked
don't believe in the
Denver.
Pelicans.
Although Rondo's playing.
Jokic might be my 3rd favorite player in the league. Warriors at Philly.
I'm going with Philly.
Warriors.
So I think the Warriors are going to lose 2 in a row here.
Houston at Memphis.
Houston.
Me too.
Paul's back. I'll go with Houston.
Memphis.
And Conley didn't play last night either.
Tyreek Evans, Reclamation Project. Washington Wizards at Toronto. We got 5 more games. Quick fire. Go, go, go.
That's a great-
Toronto. I like Toronto a lot. I want to talk about Toronto. Who is
That's a great game.
Who's Miles? Who's Anumbi?
TJ Miles.
These guys are good.
I'll go Toronto.
6 for 9 threes, Miles the other night. Anumbi shutting down Harden.
OG Anunoby is good, but CJ Miles is not. Indiana at Miami.
He shot against the Celtics well.
Indiana at Miami.
Miami. Oh, Kelly Olynyk's losing playing time bad.
I'll go Indy there. Oladipo looks like an all-star.
Minnesota. No, Ben Simmons is taking his spot.
Oh, that's a good game. I'm going with Detroit. I think Detroit's for real.
I think that they're for real, but for real means they're an
Drummond's at 63%.
Minnesota again.
He's still at 63%.
I believe in
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Dropped to 58. Chicago at Phoenix.
That's a lot higher than 32.
Dumpster fire game. Chicago at Phoenix.
Oh God, Chicago's so terrible. I gotta go Phoenix. Chicago's awful.
Yeah, I'll go with Phoenix.
Phoenix has been playing well since Jay Triano took over as head coach. Denver at Lakers, last game.
Chris Dunn's getting playing time.
Chris Dunn looked good.
Who's this one?
Denver at Lakers.
Denver.
The Lakers are they're gonna have trouble winning it, hopefully.
All right, we'll round it out. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably get a 4th straight medal next week. We'll see. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you next week.